President Joe Biden had this to say about Twitter CEO Elon Musk's relationships with other countries.
I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and/or technical relationships with other countries is worthy of being looked at. Whether or not he is doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's worth being looked at.
So he didn't say Musk did anything wrong.
Right.
I'm not sure why he even...
It's sort of a firestorm.
Why would you even go down this route if you're not going to allege that he's doing anything? And if foreign tech malfeasance is such an issue, why did they put on hold the the Trump administration's plan to do something about TikTok, which is by far a greater example, and one that even could potentially involve Musk, given that a concern is that because of where Tesla, the factory is in China, that makes him kind of beholden to China. But TikTok, the most important social media platform for kids, is explicitly run by the Chinese government, so
those things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. So in Biden's defense, he was responding to a question. He didn't just randomly decide. He was asked whether or not this was something that is of concern, and he showed, I think, a great deal of restraint in saying, well, we don't know. It's probably worth looking into, just like anything else. And people like Matt Stoller have done a good job of actually being very concrete about the ways in which Elon has demonstrated a willingness to bend the knee, as it were, to the Chinese government because of how much of his business depends on manufacturing in that country. That's just a fact of life. And so I'm not sure, this is kind of one of those reporter instigated dramas.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, Musk signaled in a Q&A with advisors yesterday that Twitter Blue will eventually treat tweets involving mentions or replies from non-paying, unverified users a bit like email spam. According to PC Magazine, he said, quote, over time, maybe not that long of time, when you look at mentions, replies, whatnot, the default will be to look at verified accounts. You can still look at unverified, just as in your Gmail or whatever, you can still look at the probable spam folder. Although that's kind of like the way it is now. You have a tab for verified mentions, unverified. I mostly just look at verified every now and then.
What an admission, Robbie. Not one for the proletariat.
Sorry, if you're yelling at me and you don't have a check, I might miss it.
Well, I'm not sure that unverified people, I don't know that there's that option when you're not verified, for one, to sort it by...
Yeah, I don't know how the other side lives.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. Yeah. I will say that I don't like that at all. I think some of the best posts that come down the transom are from unverified accounts, and there's going to be an incredible barrier to growing your account if unverified people never get the benefit of being retweeted and boosted by bigger accounts.
But now we're creating instead of a two-tier system of verified and unverified people. It seems like I don't fully understand what's going on. It seems like we're getting to a three-tier system, because now some people are verified natively because they're important enough, I guess. And then people will pay for verification. This is Matt Iglesias, the writer Matt Iglesias joked that this is akin to like the medieval, the nobility who have it because of their ancestry, the Knights of the Sword versus the Knights of the Cloth who paid for it, and the king had to buy it from the king or something.
Yeah, this is not equality producing here. He's creating multiple tiers of kind of privilege.
Well, aren't there two different things? There's a check. There was a different thing, too. There's two things.
You can see it. You are labeled differently if you have the paid-for check versus the native, organically derived check. And that, combined with basically erasing non-verified people from the timeline, I don't understand how anybody could see this as a democracy increasing process. It's imposing a hierarchy on a site that previously was fairly democratic outside of the moderation aspect.
We don't know that it was fairly democratic.
Look, I say this before, I'll say it again. I was a 500 follower account within the recent, very recently, in 2017. And I really appreciated the ability to engage with journalists, big follower accounts, famous people that didn't know me, I didn't even use my real name at the time, but was able to have substantive engagements and grow an organic following because people were able to judge you on the merits of what you were saying and whether or not they agree with your opinions. And he's trying to move the site away from that into a site where it's just celebrities adding each other or like hip hop
Nobody
stars
wants
having
that. I mean,
beef
that
with
is
each
not
other.
something anyone wants. So
Yeah,
I can't imagine that's going to succeed. And this verification process is going a little bit awry because now we have plenty of examples of people being wrongly verified as the thing, but they're a parody or something. Maybe we can put some of those on screen. There was a George Bush one. There was a Tony Blair one. Can we put a few of those up?
Yeah, so the whole point of the check, so this is not Elon Musk.
That's the Elon Musk one.
But someone parodying Elon Musk. They had parody written in their banner and in their description, so you can clearly see it says parody account. And at some point, people were doing this, and Elon Musk said, if you do this and you don't clearly label that you're a parody, you're going to be banned without any warning.
But that's always what the policy was.
This person put parody in their account and was still banned.
Oh, this is a Nintendo one.
This is someone mimicking the Nintendo account. Yeah. And so you see.
It says Nintendo of US, but it says so Nintendoofus.
Okay. Yeah. And so you have to look very closely at the handle, the part following the @ side to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, here are the parody ones I was looking for.
So obviously not the real George Bush.
Obviously.
But not so obviously, especially when a lot of the handles are pretty close to what you might expect from some. You know, a lot of people's handles aren't their names. My handle is @BrieBrieJoy. You know, is someone going, I actually have squatted on @Brianna Joy Gray as well, but like someone could go and find something that's similar to my name or your name, get a verification check, and apart from kind of assessing maybe the volume of followers that people have, there's no way now to actually determine.
I mean, this has happened
real.
to me before. I've had in person. They're not parody if they were funny or whatever. And obviously, Marcus parody, I wouldn't care. I can have a sense of humor about myself.
Sure.
But ones that are pretending to be me and then are messaging your followers or your mutual, then you report them, and the site should take them down. It should absolutely take them down.
Right.
Everyone agrees with that. That's not even contentious.
Yeah. Well, writer of newsletter misinfo.com, Matt Bender, tweeted, Twitter built this MF paid for Twitter meme right into its paid Twitter Blue subscription. If you click a blue check mark on a user's profile, it will show you, this is what you were saying before, Robbie, if they were given one as an actual notable user, or it will show you if they paid for it. We also double checked. This is in fact true. So again, this is the problem behind blue checks. The reason people don't like blue checks is wielding something that was supposed to be about verification as a status symbol. That's not something that inherently built into it, but it's a culture that has evolved around blue checks. But there are many, many blue checks who have small follower accounts, but who are journalists, they have bylines. That's how you used to get verified. You submitted a byline. You showed that you were a real person. You showed that you were who you said you are. And Elon Musk is very intentionally shifting away from that model into one that completely embraces the celebrity aspect that has come up around the site, which is the most toxic and unpleasant thing about the whole thing.
Aren't you having a fun time though? Something has changed. It's gotten better.
Yeah, it does feel like that he's gotten rid of whatever kind of shadow bans, ideological blocks, whatever was keeping some of us at like a base ungrowing
I'm more convinced those things were in
place
place than I was before because it is noticeably different. My experience on the platform is noticeably different.
I agree.
In the last 2.5 weeks or however long it's been.
I agree. So there's going to be some pros and cons with Elon Musk. I'm not one of those people who kind of categorically thinks that everything that he says or does is a bad idea. I think his plan about Ukraine democracy was
a great
one of the
idea.
better plans that we've seen. But I think we also have to be clear-eyed about the fact that a lot of the problems with the app were not these kind of random ideological issues. They were coming from advertisers, and they're coming from people who, like Elon's doing in this moment, who didn't necessarily understand the ethos of the app before they plunged in and are trying to switch things up to make money. He has to make money, by the way. Part of why he's pushing this Twitter Blue and the $8 subscription is because advertisers are pulling out of Twitter because of the instability there. He has had to, the stock price of Tesla keeps falling as he keeps trying to pull money out of that business to fund his new business. He just sold $4 billion more of Tesla. The stock price is down now 22% since the day he took over Twitter, meaning Tesla's market value has dropped by $160 billion.
It would be a real shame if we're undermining the goal of like a colony on Mars in order to fix Twitter.
Well, that's subjective.
Let's prioritize some things, Elon Musk. I would rather be on Mars.
Sure. Well, we'll have more Rising for you right after this.